For purposes of international comparisons of PSDS, recall that we can group the debt instruments using D1, D2, D3, and D4. We start with a narrow but commonly applied coverage of only 2 debt instruments and expand it gradually to cover all 6 debt instruments. We can also label the subsectors of the public sector, starting with the narrowest institutional coverage and expanding it all the way to the total public sector. Using these 2 important dimensions of PSDS, we can present the instrument and institutional coverage in a matrix format. The horizontal axis represents the addition of debt instruments, D1 to D4, and the vertical axis presents the consolidation of the public sector's subsectors, GL1 to GL5. To illustrate how this matrix can assist us, let's say our PSDS covered debt securities and loans, or D1, of the general government, that is GL3. The matrix shows us what is covered, but also what is not covered. As we can see, there is potentially a substantial portion of PSDS that we omit if we cover only D1 and GL3. Let's consider for country X the consolidated general government's gross debt statistics for a specific year as an example of the relevance of these dimensions of debt. The broadest institutional coverage here is the consolidated general government, or GL3. But we also have the debt data for the budgetary central government, or GL1, and the consolidated central government, or GL2. In this example, we assume that social security funds are included in the central government subsector. They can also be a separate subsector of general government. The PSDS of country X cover all 6 debt instruments, that is D1 through D4. Suppose the PSDS of country X with the coverage of D1 and GL1 is 45% of GDP. The debt with the broadest available coverage, that is D4 and GL3, is 83% of GDP. This number includes the debt instrument grouping insurance, pension, and standardized guarantee schemes. Clearly, there is a large difference between these 2 debt numbers. So you may ask, is there a right number? Is the government debt of country X 45 or 83% of GDP? Both numbers are correct, but they have different analytical implications. D1 and GL1 is a narrow instrument and institutional coverage of the debt. On the other hand, D4 and GL3 provides a much more comprehensive picture of the general government gross debt of country X. This broader coverage captures potential fiscal risks at the lower levels of government as well. This matrix also shows the importance of ensuring that you are making proper international comparisons of countries' public sector debt statistics. If you have data for country X covering D1 and GL1, and data for country Y covering D3 and GL2, these 2 sets of debt statistics are not comparable because they have a different institutional and instrument coverage. We have 4 dimensions of debt that ensure international comparability. The 2 dimensions not addressed by this matrix are, first, the valuation of the debt statistics, and second, whether the data are consolidated or not.